Got it. Hey guys, and we are live with Tech Talk and BS. I'm your man Kevin, the Tech Ninja, and I'm with my co-host, as always, Mr. Ryan O'Neill, your friendly Scotsman of beginnerstech.com.
Hey guys, what's up?
And we are here with our very, very special guest, Mr. Tim, aka QBKING77. What's up, man? How you doing?
I'm doing pretty well. How are you?
Doing good, man. Doing real good. So, what we like to do with all of our guests when we first start the show, we give you like a 30-second shout out where you can say whatever you want, talk about your channel, or whatever else you want to talk about. So the floor is yours, Mr. Tim.
All right, awesome. Yeah, so my name is Tim Schofield. Been doing YouTube videos on technology for maybe a little over 3 years now, and just kind of been something I really enjoy doing. Started out doing it way back when I was in XDA. I used Samsung Epic, did videos on it. They just kind of took off and went from there and branched out, started doing reviews, tutorials, all that stuff. Yeah, so I'm really happy to be here. Excited to be on the show. I enjoy doing this kind of stuff. Just kind of, it's a little more personal than just kind of sitting and recording a camera. So this is a lot of fun. Thanks, Kevin. And Ryan.
Thanks for coming on, man. We really appreciate it. And it's definitely nice for us to get to chat to people like yourselves and obviously all of our audience to ask questions and kind of get to know you a little bit better than they would just watching your reviews. So, what's been happening, man? Have you got anything exciting coming up? Anything planned?
Let's see. I mean, the next video I want to make is on the Moto 360 Android Wear 5.1.1 just came out, so I'm going to probably do a review on that. Nothing too insane. I kind of want to upgrade some of my equipment, whether it be my microphone or camera, so hopefully I can maybe get some videos in 4K coming up pretty soon.
Nice.
Sweet, man.
I'm still waiting to get on the 4K.
Yeah. It's like one of those things where if you get a 4K camera, you have to have a laptop that can edit in 4K, that's good enough to edit, and just the file size alone is just so much larger, so it just all that extra time that it takes to edit it and then upload it as well because the file size is larger.
Plus all the money it costs to buy everything.
Yeah, that too. That as well.
Yeah, when I made the jump to 4K, I had to upgrade my hard drive, had to upgrade this, I had to upgrade a lot of things. It's a major jump, and I don't even render in 4K still. Like I shoot in 4K and downscale to 1080p. Just I like the extra crop. You know, I can crop 4 times down, so I have a wide shot that I can go into a close shot type of thing. That's kind of what I'm looking for. So, hey guys, just a reminder, you can tweet the show using the hashtag TTBS on Twitter. You can just tag me or Ryan, and we'll get the questions on with Mr. QBKING77. Speaking of QBKING77, you have to explain where that name come from, honestly.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I get that question all the time, obviously, because it's a really random name. Back when I was little, I played the video game Madden, and I had to create an online account, so I was like, oh, I'll just do something football related, so I did QBKING77, and then all other accounts, whether it be my YouTube account, my XDA account, all of them included that username, and then I started making these videos just for fun. I didn't expect it to become popular, and then they kind of caught on. And at a certain point, I realized, oh, I should probably change my name. But at that point, it was like people started calling me by that and recognizing me by that name. So I just kind of went with that. And, yeah, so, I mean, I'm just kind of going with my first and last name, Tim Schofield, from QBKING77.com. That's just kind of what I've adopted it into, not just calling me QBKING77, just kind of trying to filter in my name as well into the YouTube channel.
Nice. Definitely cool. Names... Well, discussed this a few times on the past few shows about how important names actually are on YouTube. We discussed like a lot of names can actually make or break a channel. So yeah, for sure, man. But I'm definitely digging the QB King anyway. It's definitely it's definitely catchy, man. Definitely
catchy. I guess.
Yeah, I think of Qbert for some reason. I don't know why. When I hear QB King, I think of Qbert. I don't know.
What is Qbert?
Oh, we'll talk about it later. What Qbert is, man. it's kind of a little cartoon, I guess. But you know, Tim, a question that I get a lot on Twitter, and it's always fun to answer, is like, what if you can build the perfect phone from all the manufacturers, you can make one super phone. Like what would your ideal phone be?
That's a good question. I was just thinking about this because I kind of want to do a video of something along those lines of what kind of perfect phone. Honestly, for me, screen size would probably be anywhere between probably like 5.3 inches is the optimal screen size for me. Probably a super AMOLED display like on the S6. That's probably my top favorite display at the moment. Front-facing speakers for sure, whether it be from the Nexus 6's speakers or the One M8's or M9, sorry, either of them. But so yeah, front-facing speakers is a big thing for me. I listen to a lot of music, even just out of my phone speakers, so I actually enjoy the front-facing speakers. Design-wise, I'm not too big into. I don't necessarily need a removable battery. I do like having a micro SD card slot though, so that'd be kind of nice. I prefer the feel of the S6, but I prefer the durability of something like, let's say, the G4, where if you feel like you're going to drop it, you don't feel like it's just going to completely shatter, whereas with the S6, it's like, I should probably put a case on this. So I think I would choose durability over the more premium feel. So, I mean, a removable back might be a nice option just because if you drop it, then it's not going to just stay together and dent or something like that. Let's see, what else is there? I stock Android. I'm kind of turning into a stock Android guy just because manufacturers aren't doing a good job at making an overlay for it. Samsung did a little bit better job, but it's still not that great with TouchWiz. Even G4, the M9, all of them I'm just not crazy about anymore. So definitely more of a Nexus stock Android kind of guy at the moment. But I also feel like stock Android in general just kind of needs to improve in a sense of with battery life. I know they're introducing DOS and stuff with Android M, but it's still just one of those things where they need to do a better job with battery life because Nexus 6 and other devices running stock Android just don't have as good a battery life as I would have liked.
Yeah.
True.
For me, it's definitely the front-facing speakers, man. Like HTC One M9, you just honestly like every time you pick up and maybe like do a little bit of casual gaming, watch a few YouTube videos, it just like every other phone just seems like so kind of boring. Like especially the G4 with its like little tiny speaker on the rear. Yeah. Kind of disappointing.
Yeah, it's funny.
Every phone should have front-facing speakers for sure, man.
I agree. It's funny you say that because I'm about to review the Zenfone 2, and on the back, I don't know if you guys can see this. You see that grill on the back of it?
Yeah.
It's kind of funny because if you take off the back of the phone, it literally just has that little speaker right here. Yeah. It makes no sense. I don't understand why they have this whole grill. I don't know if it's probably just for show, obviously, but it's funny you say that. And then like when you're using phones that have speakers on the bottom or the back, your hand's like covering them up. So and it's funny because I have a bunch of friends that have iPhones, and like on the S6, the speaker's down at the bottom, and I see so many of them when they're watching a video or something, they just like cup their hand to try and get the sound to bounce off and face all the time. It's really funny. So front-facing speakers to me is actually a really good thing, and I prefer it even though it kind of takes away from some of the design and the aesthetics of it just because it has to add a chin and a top to the device, but still I think it's totally worth it for me.
Yeah, man. So what do you...
I totally agree on that.
Yeah. What do you think about Quad HD 1080p versus kind of battery life?
Okay, yeah, that's a good question. I mean, with the smaller screens, obviously on a TV, 4K is going to be a much bigger difference to 1080p versus a 5.5-inch display running 1080p versus 4K. It's going to be more noticeable anyways, just with the resolution, the pixels, and all that stuff. But battery life-wise, I would say I don't want to see a jump to 4K yet because on phones anyways, just because battery life isn't there yet. That's what I always try and tell everyone is that battery life is one thing that manufacturers need to focus on, whether it be through their software, making things more energy efficient, or just the battery technology in general, because all this hardware is surpassing battery technology, and it's just not keeping up with it. So, I mean, with 2K screens, I think we're at that point. That's probably like the highest resolution that we should stay at the moment until we figure out a way to increase battery life. Because flagships now, whether it be the S6, the G4, battery life's just okay, in my opinion, honestly. And And even the M9, the battery life's okay, and that still has a 1080p screen. Yeah, I prefer the look, obviously, of the 2K. It's not crazy noticeable in difference of 1080p, but I mean, you can still notice a difference.
Yeah.
But I think 2K at the moment is probably where they should draw the line until battery life gets better.
Yeah, battery technology is terrible at the minute, and I mean, when I use like the One M9, the 1080p is honestly absolutely fine. I mean, you can notice a difference, but I mean, in terms of just watching YouTube videos, etc., it really doesn't make a huge difference.
I think another thing is that there's so much content out there that's still just in 1080p, and that's totally okay. I mean, not a lot of people are still shooting in 2K, 4K yet, just because it hasn't really caught on just yet, which is fine because 1080p looks just fine.
Yeah. So we got a question in already from Twitter. It's from Ash Taylor. He's actually a friend of the show, believe it or not.
Cool.
It says it's nice to finally meet you. Well, watch you probably. What do you think is the next big thing in mobile? He thinks that is possibly Project Ara.
Okay. Next big thing, Project Aura. I'm a little torn on that, in a sense of I mean, they're starting to get more and more manufacturers on board with it. I just don't know if you can get people to catch on to it in general, just because, I mean, it's essentially like a build your own PC, but with a mobile phone, where you got all the different parts where you can add it on. I think honestly, I'm glad Google is working on it. I think it's going to take a little bit of time for it to become somewhat mainstream or something. I think at the moment, the two things, Aura is one of them, and then the other one's probably VR, virtual reality, where you've got so many more manufacturers starting to build their own, whether it's Samsung with the Gear. I know HTC just made one. I forgot the name of it. But basically where you put your cell phone into the VR and play games or whatever you want to do with it. So, I mean, those two things are probably, they're a little ways away, in my opinion, but I also feel like it's something that needs to be worked on for it to actually catch on. So they have to start somewhere in general. Just like Google Glass, like, yeah, it was cool, but it was obviously not going to catch on mainstream or anything, but I think it was a good stepping stone for wearables and something that needed to be done and shown to the world for them to start accepting other ones, whether it be watches or something like that. So I think, Aura and VR are probably the two big things that are coming in the future, not necessarily the near future.
You know, I always think every year there's a push for something new. Like, I think last year was home automation. The year before that was like the budding technology of wearables, and I think this year it's VR. A lot of companies are pushing out this VR headset type of thing, and it's always the question I like to ask is like what is this thing? Like, who is it going to be for? Is it going to be a niche situation where just a few people buy it, or is it going to be something that you buy instead of a PlayStation? Hey, here's a PlayStation, here's a VR headset. What system do you want? So it's just interesting to see where things are going. But I don't know. For me, like when I want to play a game, I want to sit back, kick my feet up. I don't want to be super interactive while playing a game. I mean that's time for me to unwind when it comes to playing games. I don't want to be doing all that. But I do still think it's pretty cool technology. I like how Google is incorporating the cardboard, especially for education, where they can give it to these schools and they can experience the Taj Mahal or the Great Wall of China in their classroom, putting this headset on and kind of look around. I think that's super interactive versus just a static textbook.
Yeah, I personally wouldn't want to be cleaning the sick up after the kids have used it for half an hour because like when I've actually got a headset that I'm reviewing at the minute, and the frame rate's obviously not great. So if you use it for too long and like maybe move around these kind of worlds, after a while you kind of get a little sick. So I think the technology needs to go some ways before like everybody could really get on board. So we got another cool question from @KickstarV. He's another friend of the show, a regular, and he says, to edge or not to edge?
That is the question.
That is the question.
That is it. Yeah, that's a good question. I both, so I've had hands-on with both of them. It's really interesting how thin the S6 feels compared to the regular S6. I mean the Edge compared to the regular S6, just because it curves down, and then it has that little slim sliver where I'm thinking I'm going to press the power button, but I'm not, because it just seems like the power button just sits on that small edge. Honestly, edge is, what, $100 extra, something like that. And for me, I don't think it's worth the extra $100. I think aesthetically it's awesome, and it's a really cool thing to look at, just watching text and images just kind of spill off the phone. I think it's really awesome, but I don't think it's $100 awesome, especially because the added features. I mean, the glow where it lights up when someone calls, a specific person calls, I don't use that at all, ever. I never put my phone face down, so it's just never an issue for me. And then, I mean, the People Edge is pretty cool, where you can swipe over and have contacts. It's a nice feature, but it's not, the aesthetics and those added features aren't worth the extra $100 to me. Maybe if it was $50, I'd say Edge, go for it. But for me, $100 is just a little bit steep in that sense. But it's good that, I mean, I applaud Samsung for pushing the limit and actually doing something different. I think that's what made them more successful with the S6, is that they had an option of something that was new and neat, and they did it differently, and it's good. I mean, look at the One M9. Essentially the exact same design, and people didn't like that. They wanted something new and something to bring to the table, and Samsung did a good job with that this year.
Yeah, I would. I would totally agree, because Samsung, their last 3 phones were essentially the exact same with minor changes, and I think people were getting tired of the design, and they said, you know what, we're going to give you guys a very similar design, and we're going to give you guys something different, and let you pick which one you like better. And I think the Edge sold a lot better than Samsung thought, because I saw a lot of a lot of things going out saying that the Edge sold more than expected, and they had to up the production and things like that. So I really think when it comes to next year, the S7, I think you're going to have the Edge variant, and that's going to be the S7. That's just my opinion. I really think that impressed a lot of people, to the point where, hey, this is going to be the next phone going forward, because as you know, Tim, better than anyone, is that Samsung, they use other phones as their guinea pigs for the S6. Because by looking at the A7 and all these other phones that came out, you can see, you know what, Samsung's going to do something different this year, because a lot of the phones were coming in looking to be a lot different. So another question, since we're on the S6, battery life. Like, what are you experiencing with your S6 battery life? Because I've been on the mountaintop screaming about how bad the battery life is. And a lot of people are agreeing, but yet I'm seeing screenshots, the famous screenshots of battery life of 20 hours and 5 hours of screen on time and all that stuff. So what's your take on battery life for that system?
Honestly, for me, when I test phones' battery life, I don't try and extend battery. I use it every day how I would like to. I don't try and limit mobile data or anything like that. I would say it's heavy usage, where I get emails all the time, Hangouts messages, I'll browse the web, I'll play games, things like that. So I mean, I'm using my phone to how I want to use it, essentially pretending that I have unlimited battery life. So for me, which is good, because then I can get a pretty accurate depiction of how battery life is on every phone that I use, if I use it all the same way. So for me, I mean, I get about 3 hours and 20 minutes screen on time average on the S6, which is not that great, honestly, for me. I mean, I have phones where I'll get 4 hours plus screen on time, whether it be the Note 4 or even the Zenfone 2 has been better. I mean, just overall, battery life just hasn't been that great. And I think part of it has to do with just the Android operating system. There's a couple bugs that they need to work out just with that. And then Samsung as well, just kind of, I think there's a talk of a mobile signal drain, which doesn't help the battery at all. Things like that that just need to be worked out. But I agree that with battery life, it's just subpar, and it's a little upsetting, especially with a flagship device. You pay all this money, and your battery's not going to last you all day, essentially. At least for me, it doesn't, just because I'm a pretty heavy user. But I mean, I do have phones that have those capabilities, so it's like, hey, well, if I'm going to get a flagship device, why isn't battery life where it needs to be?
Yeah, man. I mean, I don't even use my S6 or S6 Edge anymore, because it just doesn't last a whole day, and I don't want to have to carry like multiple phones and stuff like that. So I mean, in terms of like people going out and spending all that money on a flagship for it to be lucky to actually last a day it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad.
So the S6 to me, I think, has had an interesting life cycle thus far. Like, first people were unsure what the S6 was going to be. Then we saw leaks of it and like, oh, get excited about it. And then when it came out, all these rave reviews. But when it started hitting the consumer's hands, then the issues started popping up. And even the thing with SwiftKey now is having a major security leak with SwiftKey's keyboard built into it. And now we're seeing the true battery life, and we see how bloated it really is. Even though the bloat isn't in your face anymore, it's still in the back end, which is kind of worrisome because I went through my S6 really trying to figure out what is causing this battery life, even though it's a small battery, trying to extend it out even more. And I got rid of probably 50 services running in the background and 50 different things that was preloaded on my device.
Yeah.
My device still worked perfectly, but the thing is, if I can disable all these things and my device still works, then that stuff's not needed. And that kind of rubbed me the wrong way about Samsung, kind of resorting to their old ways again. So.
Yeah, I mean, and if you compare it to something like the G4, I'll just tell you, like, I have about half my battery left at the minute and a screen on time of just short of 4 hours. Do you know, like, so it's pretty ridiculous.
Yeah,
that is good.
Yeah, I know,
yeah,
it's
it is.
probably a little too good. So we have another question. Where did it go? Yeah, the YotaPhone 2. If any of you has ever experienced it, because I have not.
I wish I have. I haven't gotten my hands on it, but honestly, it looks kind of cool. I saw that. In my opinion, it's kind of like seems like a niche phone where with the two-side with the normal display and the e-ink display on the other side, right? Yeah, yeah. So I think it's kind of niche where if you're someone that probably reads a lot on your phone, whether it be probably books in general because you're sitting there all the time, I think that's a pretty good idea for them just because reading on e-ink is so much better on the eyes. Just I've used one of the Kindles that had it, and it's nice. Honestly, it's when you're outside, it's easier to see all that stuff.
Yeah.
So I think it's a kind of cool phone. It's a bit of a niche market, but I kind of like it. I would enjoy using it. Maybe get my hands on it. Maybe I'll email the company and see if they'll send me one or something. But yeah, I think that's actually it's a neat idea. And I mean, I think it's like with the Edge, how Samsung kind of took a little risk and went out with it. I mean, you got the YotaPhone 2 with dual-sided displays, and I think just doing this is good for the market just because it tailors to different people and it gives other companies ideas for things that they can add to their phones in the future.
Yeah, the e-ink technology, I really like it, and I think we haven't had a home run with it yet. And I think there's going to be a company out there that provides a service with e-ink that's going to really knock it out of the park. So I'm not sure what that's going to be, but e-ink is a really cool technology that I'm excited to see. I believe you were at CES, Tim, weren't you?
I was, yeah.
Yeah. Did you see the e-ink wall that they had? It was like a large wall. It was like sort of e-ink, and it was red, and it was shifting colors.
Yeah, I did see that. That was actually really cool. Just to see that. It's different.
Oh, yeah, and that stuff like that is so cool. So e-ink has the potential to do a lot of things, and it can be applied in many different ways. So I don't know. I think that's going to be something that we're going to see a lot more on mobile. Maybe even more wearables have an e-ink display on it, so you can always see the time. Because Android Wear, as we talked about battery life, Android Wear's battery life isn't good enough for me. Like if I travel, I'm not bringing an Android Wear device because I know I'm going to have to charge it nightly, and I don't want to worry about that. I don't have to lug around an extra charger with me if I travel. So if we get an e-ink display on a wearable, I think that would be killer because we'd get, I don't know, 5 days, 10 days battery life. Who knows? So
yeah, I agree.
Tim, a question came in, another one from Ash Taylor. He wants to know what do we see like consumer based on Google Glass? The second version, fourth version, like what do you see the end product for Google Glass?
Well, first of all, Ash Taylor, thanks for the questions. Anyways, what Google needs to do, in my opinion, for Google Glass to even become more of a mainstream product is make it less bulky and less obvious that you're wearing something like that. I know for me, if I ever wore it out in public, I was doing it to test it out and just kind of use the functionality of it, but it was always people would you would see them just staring at you because it's obvious you're wearing it. You get people coming up to you asking you questions, all that stuff, just like, hey, like that's so cool. And I mean, you couldn't go out in public without someone saying something, and I think that needs to be eliminated because there's some people that want to use it but don't want to deal with having to get stopped all the time when you're walking down the street. So I think a little more slim. I think another thing they should focus on is maybe having it more as attachments to regular glasses for people that do wear those regular glasses as well. But it's a little difficult now because you don't have the battery technology to make it that small just yet or anything like that. So, I mean, it's good. A good proof of concept was the first option. And then you have competitors like GoPro and things like that. I mean, they're trying to integrate Android Wear and GoPro, it seems like, with the more point of view camera, where I think it's kind of cool where you can do things and videotape it from your eye point. But like I said, I think just as more of a, since you're wearing it on your face, it's kind of a fashion thing, and with it being so bulky on the side, I just don't think it can catch on with its current design.
Yeah, man. They need to get on board with these bad boys, man.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, and, you know, I think Google Glass was just, you know, it was called the Explorers program. So I think that, you know, Google likes to get products in our hands, have us test bugs out and figure things out, and they use it for a different thing, like the Photos app. You know, I think that's going to help with the hands-free payment system that they sort of teased during I/O. So I think Google is always looking to do things differently, and I don't know, for me, I don't think Google Glass is going to be a consumer-facing product at the end of the day. I think it's going to be more for the professionals, for recording things, maybe a cop, a fireman, a doctor, recording things as it happens. I don't know. I just, because we have a wearable on our wrist, we have a wearable on our face, we have a phone in our hand. I mean, I think it gets exhausting. But
man, you've got to take into account as well that it was so highly priced. That, I mean, it's not really something most normal people could go out and just buy, even if they wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, there's so many factors. I really don't see it being something that we're going to see people walking about with all the time.
Yeah,
personally.
definitely. And price point alone was another thing. If they wanted to catch on, they have to bring it. It was what, $1,500 when it got released. That's ridiculous. So I mean, it's one of those things where the price is just another huge thing if they want it to get in more people's hands.
Yeah. So we got a question from Google Plus here. It's talking about the OnePlus 2. What do you think about OnePlus going with the Snapdragon 810 version 2.1?
The cool version.
Yeah, I mean, from what I've read, it seems like even the new version kind of has some issues with overheating and everything. I mean, just the 810, honestly, 810 in general, I honestly would rather see him go with the 808 just because of the issues it has. And it's okay. What, the M9 is the 810, right? And then the G4 went the 808. So, I mean, both perform well. So I can't really say one's just terrible or something like that. If they put an 810 in there, it's going to perform well and everything. I haven't had too many issues with the M9 or anything performance-wise. So I don't think it's too big of an issue, but it's still something where if it has problems and the 808 performs very similarly or just as well, then I would say they should just go with that to eliminate any future issues that happen, especially because I know with the OnePlus, a lot of people were talking about customer service and things like that. So if any issues do arise, they probably would want to try and keep people away from customer service. So just using technology that is known to work and not have any issues, I think they should have went with the 808. But I'm still okay with them going with the 810 just because I've used it day to day and it's worked just fine.
Yeah. Do you think we're going to see as good a price as the last time, I wonder?
I would say maybe a little bit more. Maybe what was the price that it launched at?
I think in the US. Well, I'm not sure about the US actually.
It was $299 for the 16 and $350 for the 64.
Okay. Yeah. So I would say maybe about hopefully the same, but I think it might be maybe $350 for a 32 gig model. That would be my guess.
Yeah,
I think they're going to the base model. I think they're going to eliminate the 16 gigabyte model and just start with the 32 gig. So I mean, it's still a solid price for an unlocked phone with hopefully top specs and everything. So I'm looking forward to it. I definitely something I want to get my hands on to and just try out.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited for it as well. I'm actually use my OnePlus One as my daily driver.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I know you love your OnePlus One,
Uh,
Ryan.
it's just for battery life, like, because I mean I work in a hospital, so I mean I've not really, and I'm on my feet all day, so I've not got time to like just plug into a computer or a wall outlet and charge my device, etc. So I really need something that's going to last and is really consistent. So I mean I really can't ask for much more. I know Kevin started using his again.
Yeah, yeah. Battery life to me. I mean, I got to the point with the S6. I remember it was one day where I wasn't going to be near a charger, and my battery died at me at 7 p.m. And I was frustrated. I was like, and I was out till midnight. I was like, do you know how hard it is to be away from your phone from 7 p.m. to midnight? Like, your phone is the most important electronic device in everyone's life. It seems like. I mean, that's how you connect with the world. And it was frustrating. I couldn't do anything I wanted to do. And I'm like, I shouldn't have to fight. Kind of like what you said earlier, Tim. I shouldn't have to fight with my phone. Like, I shouldn't have to do these things if my phone, if it's a flagship phone, a new phone. Like this battery should be an afterthought. Like, battery life should be good to the point where everything works well now. I mean, we have so much great technology in these phones, and these phones can do so many things, and yet it can't last longer than a day. And I think it's a poor excuse for manufacturers to say that they're trying to make the phone as thin as possible. Like, give us a thicker phone and let it last all day. I don't think we care that much. I mean,
yeah, I think I saw an article. Someone did a study on that even, and majority of people said, "Hey, yeah, we're okay with a more thick device as opposed to a super thin phone, as long as battery life adjusts accordingly to that thickness," which I'm totally okay with. Honestly,
yes.
I'd much rather have a more thick device with a bigger battery and better battery life, just because I prefer that over the design.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, like, I mean, what does it matter? Majority of people put cases on their phone anyways, which makes their phone thicker. I mean, and then some people are putting these battery cases on their phones. So people don't care if the phone's a little bit thicker. I mean, my S6 without a case, it feels flimsy. It feels like I'm scared to even touch the thing. It feels like I should hold it with rubber gloves and like white gloves and just set it down somewhere on a mantle. I don't know. It's just one. I don't know. It's just one of those things. So.
And it's like what the Samsung just came out with the S6 Active, and that has a 3,500 milliamp hour battery, so that's almost 1,000 more than the regular S6, and I mean it comes with essentially a case too, so it's got like a built-in case and a bigger battery in general. So I mean, I don't know why they couldn't have just gone with that 3,500 milliamp hour battery in the S6 and just made it a little thicker.
Yeah.
And that frustrates me to no end right now because of that. It's I don't know. It's beyond frustrating to me that Samsung made these compromises with their phones. So many compromises to get this sexy design. But what good is sexy design if your battery's dead by 6 o'clock? I mean, it becomes something sweet you can look at and sit down and admire from afar. But don't you dare touch and turn that screen on because it's going to die soon. So I don't know. I don't know. I just think the S6 is one of those things where it's just it could have been so much better. Like, it really could have been the best phone I've ever used, but the battery life just pulled me away so much from it, and it just makes me frustrated about it.
Is it a big fault of the consumer though? I mean, like, obviously when we had the removal back on the S5, everybody complained non-stop. I want premium, I want this, I want that. So I mean,
you can do both. No, you can, but I think you can do both. I think you can provide a premium feel with removable back as well. There is a balance. And even if it's not removable, figure out a way to give me better battery life. Because Sony does it, Apple does it. Samsung needs to do it too. Period.
Sony's doing nothing really at the minute though.
but you know what? So, Sony hasn't changed their design, and I get it, and that's a different topic for a different day.
Yeah.
But still, they have excellent battery life, good camera, good build, and it's waterproof.
Okay, so Samsung, make your devices thicker and give us better battery life. That's it, really.
Yeah.
In a nutshell.
Give us the active. Give us the black active, and I think everyone's happy because the people that I know with the active, they are a happy camper with the phone. They said it's like the S6, just a little bit thicker, but who cares? And it feels like it has a case on it.
What's the
big deal? But you know what? What does it matter? Like, I mean, I'm at the point now. Like, what does it matter? Like, if you give me all day battery life and I can use the phone and it's that good, then what does it matter if it's ugly? I don't know.
People that are not like us though don't buy phones for battery life. Most people buy phones like the iPhone and stuff like that because it's a trend and they want to fit in and look cool. So if walking about with like a big brick and a suit of armor,
Well,
people will be like, what is he even rocking, man?
Well, I mean, I totally agree, but if you look at iPhone users, they all have cases on their phone. So no matter how cute the phone is or whatever, they're putting cases on the phone, and a lot of people walk around with extra little power banks in their pocket. They're plugging their phone in and stuff. And I had the S6 last night, and 3 people at the dinner table. Doesn't the battery suck? Like, how's your battery? Like, people like that is coming around now. People are realizing the S6 battery isn't that great. So I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like I haven't used it in a little bit, but I think the S5's battery was better than the S6's battery is.
Yeah, totally agree, man, for sure.
I mean, you think you're gonna get it if you have an S5 and you're using it day to day, you know how long it's gonna last, and then you're like, oh, I'll get the new model where I'll hopefully get better. Like, you expect a little bit better every model, and then you get it and you're just like, oh, well, it's actually not as good anyways. So why did I upgrade if I'm not gonna get an upgrade in every aspect?
Yeah. No, I totally agree with you. Now, Tim, this is kind of an interesting question since we're on battery life. Do you think Android L has an inherent battery issue built into it? Because I don't know many phones that were released on L that had good battery life, and some may argue it's just the newer specs coming out pushing the battery life, but there is a trend with newer devices that are on L in bad battery life.
Yeah, like I was saying, just with stock Android in general, I think it needs work. I know there's a memory leak in 5.0. There was a memory leak where your home launcher would have to redraw. Apps would just close out in the background just because of the memory leak. And I know there's a Play Store drain that's been going around where the Play Store will be running in the background, draining your battery and using mobile data and everything. So honestly, I think, like I said, part of it has to do with software. It's not all just hardware and how big the battery you have. It's also software as well. So Lollipop is hopefully just an intermediary between KitKat and M is going to be, because there are problems with it in general, and they're not huge problems, but they definitely affect the battery life. That's the thing. You probably might get an extra 30 minutes to 60 minutes screen on time if these bugs weren't there. So I mean, that's pretty big for me. If I could get over 4 hours screen on time on a flagship device, I'm pretty okay with that. I've come to be like, okay, that's good enough for me. But sub 4 hours screen on time is just not okay for me. My battery's not going to last me all day. So I mean, those little extra minutes actually matter when it comes to battery life. So, and Google just doesn't seem to make those little bugs a priority as much as they are there, and I'm sure they know they're there. I seem they're doing too much at once, and they're not they're kind of jumping ahead of the gun, and they need to sit back and fix these problems, these small problems that are actually there.
Yeah, I totally agree with that, man. I think it definitely is a mixture of software, hardware, and the right balance definitely needs to be found sooner rather than later, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's like one of those things where with the iPhone, you have a smaller battery, but they optimize the hardware with the software. So that's what I said. I did a 2-week challenge with an iPhone because I'd never used one before. So I did it, and it was noticeable. The battery life was good, and I was surprised considering how small it was. But the software and the hardware just optimized so well together because that's all they have to focus on. And I think Google should do something similar with their Nexus devices, where focus on optimizing both hardware and software to work well together, where manufacturers can take it and it just works for them.
Yeah, and that's the nature of the beast of being so open. You're allowing manufacturers to make so many changes, and stock Android doesn't expect to have all these services running in the background. So it's one of those things that I wish Google was a little bit, well, Android in general was a little bit more closed to have a more consistent experience. But I do like the openness too, where I can have a different experience on different devices. So I mean, I don't know how I feel about it. I go back and forth every day about it, and just like you, Tim, I actually used the iPhone 6 Plus last week as my only phone last week, and it wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. And that battery life was really good, and I'm jealous because I want this battery life for my favorite phone. So
yeah, right. So we have another question on the Google Plus here. It's about the G4. Has anybody spotted that the interface is laggy during everyday usage? I've not really noticed any lag, to be honest with you. Everything seems pretty fluid. Doesn't really stutter for me, but I mean, what do you guys think?
Yeah, I mean, it's been good for me as well. I mean, really, it's smooth, no complaints, and like I said, it has the 808, the Snapdragon 808 processor in it, and like I said, no hiccups, runs smooth whether I'm doing some high-end gaming or just switching between text messaging and email. So, I mean, just overall, it's a solid device. It's smooth, it's quick, and I mean, it comes down, for me, it came down to you got a different screen technology than the S6. You got a different design. Design's a big thing with the G4. Some people just might hate the buttons on the back. For me, I don't mind them at all. So, but I mean, yeah, overall software has been good. I'm not a huge fan of just the overlay that they use, the skin, the look of it, just in general. But I mean, overall, it still hasn't like slowed down the operating system or anything like that.
Yeah. What happened to the Google Play Experience devices? Because I think a G4 stock Android would be one heck of a phone. Like that would be a killer phone in my opinion. So
I agree. That would probably be like my go-to device if they actually did something like that. So I'm not exactly sure why they did that, because I know LG was the first. I think they were the first one to even do Google Play Experience device with their. It was like a tablet. I forgot what it was, the G-Pad or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then you got HTC and Samsung following suit. So I don't know. I'm a little upset that they didn't go with just a stock Android on the G4's hardware. That'd be a really awesome thing to see.
Yeah. You know, and the whole argument about stock Android versus skinned, and a lot of companies get kickbacks for providing different software on their phones. I mean, that's how they can subsidize, especially a lot of the Asian phones. They can subsidize their phones so well because these companies are paying them to put their app on the phone preloaded, and that's kind of it's like having advertisements somewhere. Basically, it's an app instead of an advertisement. So, I mean, it's just one of those things. And, you know, I think skins were needed back in the day of Froyo and stuff like that, because Android was pretty bare back then. And that's how these companies can differentiate themselves between other companies. That's why Samsung is different than an HTC. But I think stock Android is so well now that it's not needed anymore. But companies sort of like to put their flair on a phone to make it different than other phones, which I sort of get, but they're doing a bad job at it, in my opinion.
Yeah, I would agree. And a lot of them took the kind of approach that they're letting us turn off tweaks that we don't like and stuff. So I suppose they're kind of getting better that way. But I would agree that we'd really, if they just launched with stock Android, maybe a few of their own tweaks that you could turn on and off, then they'd be going in a lot better direction. And I think that would also help Google if people started using their software, that everybody could kind of be on the same page and optimize, and hopefully back again to the battery life kind of thing. It could help in the long run, but
yeah, you make a really good point, Ryan, with just few useful tweaks, and that kind of takes me to what Motorola's been doing with their devices, whether it be the Moto G, Moto E, Moto X. I mean, they have essentially stock Android on their devices with some added tweaks that I enjoy and I use. I mean, for me, there's obviously stock Android's missing some features, whether it be I like using an IR blaster, which doesn't come with stock Android. You got fingerprint scanner, some people might like that. Multi-window, some people like using that. So, I mean, it is missing some features, but there's no need to add all these features that essentially not very many people are going to use, or even just a whole skin over it where it's going to look different, completely different, where you got the Moto X, which I have right here because I use it pretty often, or the Nexus, not Nexus 6, but Motorola. So it's just they have nice added features. Whether I mean, one of them is you can have a chop motion to turn the camera on, and I find myself using that, and it does, and it works. It's not like the camera's randomly on when it's in my pocket. It senses you're doing what you need to do to turn the camera on. It's just things like that, and just the display where you put your hand close to it, and the display comes on, lets you know if you have notifications. I use that as well. It's a nice feature, and it doesn't feel like bloat at all.
Yeah, I mean, all these companies add in their own voice software and stuff like that. I mean, it's just ridiculous because none of them even come close to how good Google now actually is. So, I mean, it's just a waste of, obviously, memory and whatever else, a waste of battery life if it's running processes in the background and stuff.
Yeah.
So,
It's a waste of resources too, developing this and
Yeah.
time into other things. So sort of moving the conversation along, let's talk about Tim a little bit. So a lot of people would always want to know, like, if they want to get started blogging or they want to get started making video, like, what are some quick and dirty tips that you can give anyone if they want to establish themselves to be the next QBKING77?
Sure, yeah. Honestly, it's tough now. I'm not gonna lie. It's difficult to become popular on YouTube right now, just because there's so many people wanting to do it. If you're trying, it depends on the area you're trying to get into. But let's say, for example, you want to get into the tech world and you want to make YouTube videos. I think the main thing to do is make as many videos as possible on as many tech things. Like, for example, if you even just small tech things, whether it be a battery pack or something like that, just make a review on it. And because especially the more niche things where you don't see a lot of reviews for those products, just because you have a lot of big YouTubers that don't go into those lower end products and things. Like any small tech, whether it be maybe like a pen that like lights up in a cool way or something like that, just anything like that, anything you can get your hands on that's somewhat related to technology and it's cool and you like it. I mean, that's one of the main things, is to just do that. And also it's good to be yourself in your videos as well. I mean, don't try and be someone else in your videos, copy a YouTuber or something like that, because there's already someone out there that's doing that. Yeah, you can definitely implement, like I do it. I implement some things that I see from other various YouTubers in my videos, things I like and the things I want to see in those videos. So just make sure you be yourself. I mean, people like you for your personality as well. They don't just like the content you give. They like interacting with you. I know I have people always met tweeting at me and things like that, and I enjoy talking with all of them and meeting all these different people, whether it be you, Ryan, or you, Kevin, just meeting so many different people. Just try and interact with your followers as well. That's another big thing, just to keep them with you and just be friends with them. Honestly, be friendly, show your personality, and that's just another huge thing.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Being helpful and responding to comments on your videos, or even just random questions, it really goes a long way. Because, like, for me, just starting out on YouTube from the very start, I have always been a kind of like, anybody asks a question or comments on a video, I'll try and comment and reply like as soon as I can. And I mean, a lot of people have noticed that. So I mean, it definitely goes a long way to try and give back, because you need to remember these people are taking time to watch your video, and they could be watching like so many other videos. So just give a little back to them, and hopefully they would stick with you, really. So I couldn't agree more with that, Tim. Definitely.
Yeah, kind of mirroring what Tim is saying. Yeah, it's important to be yourself and not say, oh, this is what you have to do as being a YouTuber or anything like that. And I hate to say it, but reviewing, like as a small YouTuber, buying a phone to review something isn't smart. That's not going to get you noticed and get you seen. That's just wasting your money, or buying a device just to drop it. That's sort of wasting your money. Yeah, because I know I've had a YouTuber, a young YouTuber. When I say young, I mean young as in new to the game. But ask me like, what phone should I buy to review to become popular? I'm like, it doesn't work like that. Like the top YouTubers and the top websites, they get the phones first. They're gonna review it first, and then they move on. But what you need to do is do these incremental videos, as Tim said. Cover a special feature about the phone. Cover just things that people don't think about and things that people will search on. Like, think about, like, what would you search on for this phone if you're interested in this phone? Like, what's a specific feature you like? Cover that feature and let people find you that way. Just reviewing a phone is not going to do it, because you're going to be on page 4. When I look for review, I just on the first couple ones. I don't go to page 4 and find another review. So I just think that's very important, especially when starting off. And don't feel like you need to upgrade your equipment and have the best equipment in the world. I mean, some of the top YouTubers, they're not using any type of major equipment. They're not shooting in 4K, or they're not buying a $4,000 camera. It's not necessary. It's not needed, especially when starting off.
Yeah, even if you have a phone that's capable of shooting 4K. I mean, I've seen a lot of young channels just shooting on their phone, and I mean, some of these phones, obviously on a tripod, etc., you're getting the nice pans and stuff. It actually looks okay, do you know? So I definitely couldn't agree more about spending loads of money. It's a really bad idea.
Yeah, you have a great camera in your pocket if you have just a newer phone. So I mean, if you want to get started, just do something like that. No need to go out and buy some crazy tech camera that you might not even know how to use, and you need to. I mean, if you want to learn about it, that's great. Maybe make some videos showing you using it and learning about it, because I'm sure other people want to do that stuff as well. But I mean, you have a good camera in your pocket that's going to work just fine for YouTube videos, whether you're filming a phone or filming yourself. I mean, so just utilize what you have.
Yeah,
well, most definitely.
I wouldn't agree more about don't be going out and trying to buy phones or taking out loads of contracts so you can have all the flagships, because really if you've not got it first, or at least within like the first week, and you've got your review up, then if you're very small, the chances are, and you have a small following, not a lot of people are going to use it. I mean, when you're a large channel, you can wait weeks and weeks, then drop your review, because you know all your followers will then watch your version of it, because that's what they're waiting for. But it's definitely, if you're new to it, don't be going out and blowing all your money on devices. And I mean, it's just crazy, man.
You're not gonna recoup it. You're just gonna be upset.
Nah, yeah.
It reminds me when people were smashing their phones for the OnePlus One without reading the instructions. If people were just smashing, they were smashing their phones and they didn't even follow the instructions, and they ended up with just a busted phone. So, yeah. Anyway,
drop tests are they're just insane, man.
Exactly, man. Tex Rex does it the best, and let him be. There's only so many phone droppers out there that can make a living doing it. So I just think that's important. So Ryan, do you have anything? If not, we'll kick it to Tim for his parting shots.
Yeah, actually, like just one question that's kind of out of the norm. It's actually came through to me on Skype. I don't know. I cover some gaming related stuff. So one of my followers has asked what you thought about E3 this year, and the fact that PlayStation pretty much kicked Xbox's ass. I mean, I'm an Xbox user, so I'm like, the fact that like Call of Duty and stuff and all their good exclusives are now moving over to PlayStation, it's kind of dampened my spirits. I know Kevin's very happy because he's a Sony fanboy. But I don't know, do you game much, Tim? Do you get involved with gaming much? Oh, I think he's froze.
I think we lost Tim. Oh,
he's froze.
Mr. QB King has left the building. So hopefully we can get him back in here.
For his parting shot.
yeah, it's really important. But that's 2 years in a row Sony tore at Microsoft.
Oh, he's back.
He's back.
Hey guys, sorry about that. Can you hear me?
Yeah. You look fine.
You're doing a Kevin. Get cut off and come back on the phone.
Yeah, someone's always bound to drop off. So this is the first time Jets has dropped off. So thank you for breaking new grounds and dropping off the hangout for us.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. I think my laptop overheated or something.
Oh wow, that's okay. So Ryan just wanted to know if you followed E3 and what are your kind of impressions of E3 if you did follow it.
Yeah, I followed it a bit myself. I know, Ryan, you said you're a PS4 user. I actually have an Xbox One.
No, I'm an Xbox One user. Kevin's the Sony fanboy.
Okay, so yeah, like you got Call of Duty going to PS4. I enjoy. Honestly, I think Microsoft's doing a pretty good job at adding new features to the Xbox One, like whether it be that backwards compatibility with the 360 games and things like that. So I was pretty excited about that. I haven't followed it crazy much. I mean, more of the stuff I focus on is Microsoft, just because that's what I have. I don't have a PS4 yet, but so yeah, I don't know. I mean, I play games. Most of the games I play are actually sports games, whether it be FIFA or Madden or NHL. I mean, I'll play Call of Duty, I'll play Halo, things like that. So overall, I mean, I was more interested in seeing the trailers for games like NHL or FIFA, just because those are the main games that I play all the time. Yeah.
Cool. Obviously, you're happy, Kevin.
Yeah, well, that's 2 years in a row that PlayStation pretty swept the floor with Microsoft, in my opinion. I mean, I had an Xbox 360. Don't get me wrong, but I felt PlayStation was going more towards games this year versus, well, this generation versus like the multimedia experience. So that's why I went PlayStation for sure. So Tim, this is the part of the show, man, where we give you 30 seconds to talk about whatever, not really tech related, just whatever's on your mind, what's new in your life. Just kind of a parting shot. Anything.
Cool. Yeah. Well, first of all, go Blackhawks. I was just at the Blackhawks parade because they won the Stanley Cup. So, yeah, just got back from Chicago, back in my apartment. Gonna start shooting some videos soon. So if you're interested, go ahead over to my channel, youtube.com/QBKING77. Kevin Ryan. This has been a ton of fun. I mean, I'm totally open to doing this again. So just let me know if you ever want me back. So yeah, this is a lot of fun. Thanks a lot, guys. I really appreciate it.
Nice.
Ryan, what you got?
I'm kind of glad that we've done it on a Saturday because there's been a kind of a little recreational game of ice hockey being scheduled for tomorrow, and I would have hated to have said no. So that's pretty awesome, and obviously sorry to my dad that hockey comes first. No, I'm just playing, man. So anyway, I just want to give you a big thanks, Tim. It really means a lot that you came on the show and gave all our viewers an insight into what life's like being QB King. And obviously, thank you to Kevin as well. So Kevin, give us your 30 seconds.
I'm never prepared for 30 seconds, but
I want to hear a rap.
No, I'm not gonna rap. Only on Periscope. That's a Periscope exclusive. Me rapping.
Oh my God, it's so bad.
You know what? It's funny that Tim lives in Chicago. I live in Detroit, so we're arch rivals when it comes to sports. And he said, "Go Blackhawks." I just have to remind him that the Red Wings is still, even though we aren't the best team right now, historically, we've been killing the Blackhawks historically. So our lifetime, not so much, but historically we have. So don't forget that, man. It's not about one part of the race. It's about the overall race. So it's not one segment. It's the overall longevity. So it's a good rivalry. Hopefully the Red Wings can come back and make it interesting against the Blackhawks. That's all I can say.
It's unfortunate they're not in the same division anymore.
Yeah. Hockey's weird when it comes to division. I don't understand the whole we're in the Western Conference and all this weirdness going on. I don't understand. But the Lions and the Bears, oh my.
Oh God. Oh my's right.
That's all I can say. So hopefully there's a good year for the Lions, and hopefully you guys get rid of Cutler somehow.
I agree. More.
All right, guys, man. So for Ryan, for Tim, this was Tech Talking BS. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it as much as we did. Always, you can get our questions in throughout the week at #TTBS. And next week we have another wonderful show for you guys. And we'll talk to you guys later. Peace.
Peace.
Take it easy.
Cool. He left.